We're your hosts,
Aaron Backus
and Jason Kindler.
We like to sit down with our guests to hear their journey, their challenges, and how they impact the local community.
So grab a seat, tune in, and let's get inspired by Jacksonville's everyday workforce.
Welcome to Hometown Jax.
Welcome to Hometown Jax, and I'm excited today. I've got Karen and Nicole, and Karen and Nicole are with Fostering Hope. So I appreciate you guys being on the show here, and you've got a great story, a great organization that we want to talk about today. So let's get started. So can you let us know the mission behind Fostering Hope and how you guys got involved?
Sure. So the mission of Fostering Hope is to raise awareness to vulnerable children, not only in our community, nationally, worldwide. So that's our main mission beyond that is to support foster and adoptive families, to help sustain them in the work that they're doing to serve those vulnerable children and families.
So that's something that that those families need a lot of help.
Yes.
What kind of things do they need help with that the organization does?
Well, just backing up on the reason why we do it, we know statistically that 1 of every 2 families, so 50% of families, will drop out of foster care if they're unsupported within a year. So 1 year, 1 placement is the rate that they drop out if they aren't supported. So we come alongside them, and really the ministry has grown organically out of need. So what does everyone love when they're like falling on hard times or they're struggling is a meal. A meal means so much more to a family than food. It helps relieve a burden. It just shows another level of care. So we do offer meals. We have a freezer meal ministry that developed out of Fostering Hope. So there was a small group of us like making extra lasagnas and making extra food and trying to get them to families when they had court dates or new placements or just having a rough time. When you bring a foster placement or an adoptive placement into your home, I like to equate it to like you just brought a newborn baby home. No matter how old that baby is, it's like a newborn, so your life is just flipped upside down. So we really try to get in care for those families early on. So we were helping each other with meals, and this sweet lady in our church was like, hey, I love to meal prep. And we got a big freezer at the church, so how about we do this? And she organized a meal ministry, and to date they have made over 1,600 freezer meals.
Wow. We
use those not only for our church families, but our community families. Like I said, stuff a few freezer meals in your freezer to get ready for those hard days. Yeah. So that's one of the things we offer.
What an incredible organization. So how did Fostering Hope start?
It started really just, there was a movement in our church, families that were...
What church?
We're at Fruit Cove Baptist Church.
Fruit Cove Baptist.
Yeah,
okay.
So my husband and I have been members there for many years, and we really felt the Lord telling us, like, it's time to do something more to serve children and families. Didn't really know what that was, but we ended up in foster care. And we found other families around us doing similar things. And then, like, when your eyes are open to this world, you see, like, oh my gosh, they're fostered, they adopted, they fostered, they adopted. So it's really more than just like one person that started the ministry. I was bringing different kids to church all the time. We were doing a lot of respite care, which is short-term care. And I had a new child with me, and people are asking questions like, well, where'd he come from? And where's that baby? Who's that? And so I started having coffee with people. That developed into learning that more people were doing this, and let's start meeting once a month. We were meeting at Panera, and like those meetings were getting a little too big. I certainly felt unequipped to answer all the questions people were bringing to the table. So I was bringing people I met along the way, and that eventually led us to going to the church and saying, hey, can we have a space just to meet once a month so we can like not be in Panera, like with all the noise, and like help each other. And our missions pastor was like, what do you know about ministry? I'm like, absolutely nothing. But I didn't know anything about foster care, and here we are. So like I said, like God has truly grown it organically out of that. Like, hey, let's get together once a month. Hey, meals would be really cool, wouldn't it? Like, wouldn't that help you? And that helped me. That turned into the church giving us a small closet on the church campus that we house diapers and clothing in, and that has grown into a resource center we have on campus that's become its own standalone ministry to not only serve foster and adoptive families, but vulnerable families. So it's by appointment. We serve anyone in the community. It's set up like a store. It brings dignity to families that are shopping. We have teens that come in and they want certain clothes and certain things, and we have it there for them. There's no price tags. We have clothing, diapers, wipes,
That's
equipment. So that's just like how it's grown. We offer education programs. Children from hard places need different parenting and just need to come along in a different way. So we offer those for families. We have just recently added a Replanted conference, which I think we'll talk about more. But there's several things we do. We provide mentorship. We have partnerships with faith-based organizations that are like-minded that provide resources for foster and adoptive families. Our licensing agencies and child welfare in the counties, we work with them too. So we try to love on them, those workers, just as much as we do our families. So
It's pretty incredible. How many in the church? How many people are involved?
Well, we
Roughly.
have about, it's in terms of numbers, right now we have about 35 foster and adoptive families that we're serving with we call comprehensive wraparound care. So we go a little bit a step more with our church families, and we have touch points with probably 300 families in the community. And
300 families.
Yeah, I would say that that's people that come to our events. We do play dates. We have that resource center. Like, that's what we consider a touch point anytime we connect with a family. But as far as involvement from the church, I can't count. Our church has been incredibly supportive of our ministry. We have a Sunday every November called Stand Sunday, where we all stand, literally, the church stands in honor of foster and adoptive families and our commitment to support them.
That's so good.
So it's hard to count. I don't know what our congregation size is, but maybe I could say that.
No, that's and that gives me it gives us a real idea of like how much support that's happening, and that's a huge thing for our community. Yeah, in Jacksonville, we're on our podcast here. We're trying to highlight people that are doing really good things, and this is amazing. So
I think that when Karen and I adopted, there was not any of the support system in place, and we struggled, and like she said, we found each other out of need. It's like, this is what I'm feeling. Is this normal? I don't know. This is what I'm feeling. Is it normal? And it's a very isolating journey. And so the fact that we have a support group that meets monthly, and it's a place where parents can come and feel seen and get heard. And we're not giving them counseling. We're not providing solutions. We're just saying, look, we're all in this boat and we understand you. And that in and of itself, I think, can make a huge difference.
And that's got to be a huge thing for the adoptive parents to have, mentors that have been through that before. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it's a different journey. So foster and adoption, they're different journeys, because one is heading towards reunification with a biological family, and the other one is looking for attachment and a new family.
Yep.
And so we did meet together at first, and now we recognize their different journeys with families with different needs. And so we have the foster parent group and the adopted parent group.
So there's a lot of amazing people in our community that are fostering and eventually adopting and all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So on the different programs and things like that, one of the things that stood out to me was the parents' night out, the family events. Tell me a little bit about how that works and how what that means.
So respite or rest is a huge need for foster and adoptive families. Like Nicole said, it's very isolating. There's behaviors that some traditional parenting, it's hard to understand and deal with. And So some families find over time they don't really have anyone that's going to watch their kids, or they just need another outlet, or they just don't have a support system close by. So Parents Night Out is a like highly sought after event that we do. We just actually hosted one 2 weeks ago. It fills up like super quick. We have a great time. We always have some sort of program that we do with the kids, and since it was around Valentine's Day, we did, we love because he first loved us, and it was great. It was great. So yeah, that's a huge popular event. And then we also do family events. Normally those are over the summer. Like this summer we're doing Jumbo Shrimp, so we offer discount tickets to foster and adoptive families to come. I mean, building community and finding families that look like yours is really important, not only in our support group for the parents that come, but for the kids to see like, okay, like we're not the only ones that have a passenger van or look different, or like, as a biological child, I'm not the only one that has siblings that are foster or adoptive siblings. Just building that community is really important. For them.
Builds a real sense of community, and of course the children, feel not so, I guess, isolated. Right. That's amazing. So if you're not going to foster a child, what's the best way that someone can get involved with helping in the community?
So can I take this one?
Yes.
This is my favorite question, because all the time people say, well, I can't do what you do, or I would get too attached, or there's all these things, and I get it. Like not everybody is created to be on the front lines of foster care or adoption. I mean, I've myself felt like, what in the world am I doing with my life? So there's some of that, like needing to just take a step. But then there are some people that are like, I just can't do that. So, but you can do something. Like our underlying beyond our mission at Fostering Hope is everyone can do something. If use a gift that God's given you. We have people in our church. We have this sweet group called the James Gang, and they are retired men that go and do home repair. The ministry started for widows, so single, widows. They would go in and do home repair. Well, so we approached them like, hey, like we could use some help. And so we have these men going into homes, patching walls, building play sets.
That's amazing.
We have a lot of single foster and adoptive moms that we serve. And so they've really helped us with that. They move furniture for us from our resource center. We call them haulers. Like they haul the furniture. We have a lady in our church that loves to bake. So she bakes a cake for every... So our wraparound care teams are built around like one person is a point of care, and they have a team of volunteers for usually like 2 to 3 families. So every family on her team, she bakes a cake for them for their birthday. There's everyone can do something. Bring a meal. A $5 Starbucks card, maybe it's $7 now, whatever. 10. Dropping that off to is huge.
Really?
Acknowledging, just encouragement. One of the roles we have on our volunteer teams is sending a card, like getting a card in the mail, sending a text, like encouragement, messages of encouragement is so important. So there's a role to play. That Stand Sunday service that we talked about early on, it is truly a way to go. If you foster adopt, stand. If you could babysit for a foster adoptive family, stand. If you could volunteer in this way, stand. And by the end of the service, if you can pray, stand. Everyone is standing. There's something for everyone to do. Yeah.
That's incredible.
I mean, one of my parents, just before I left to come here, I got a package in the mail I wasn't expecting. It was a book from another adoptive mom to encourage me. I mean, and so that's this community. That's what we do. We come alongside each other, and, whether it's something like sending a book or a text or a call or whatever it is, no matter how small, it makes
an amazing support
difference.
Group. Yeah, that's incredible. Mentorship program. Talk about the mentorship program a little bit.
I mean, really, that's kind of built within our support group. Yeah. We, kind of say if you've been through it, if you're going through it, someone else has been through it.
Right.
And so between Nicole and I, we can usually identify help for somebody that's going through something difficult and try to match people up that are in similar situations.
How long has the organization been in this area?
8 years.
8 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you've probably helped a lot of families.
I think the ripple effect of serving vulnerable children families is like something we will never know.
Yeah. So is there a either one of you or both, is there a memory or an experience over the last 8 years that you can share with us about something that really stood out to you that affected you?
So just personally for me recently, I have a kind of an atypical adoption story, would you say? And so I've been through some things that maybe other people in the support group haven't been through, which is fine. And so they had an opportunity. I came to them and I said, something's happening. I need to talk to you guys. And they came around me and they prayed over me, and they have called and texted and kept up with me to make sure I'm okay, to make sure I'm encouraged, to help me process what I'm feeling, to help me just, feel seen and cared about. And that's just in the last couple weeks.
Wow.
What's happened. And so that's why I guess it stands out for me right now.
And that makes a difference.
It makes a huge difference. Yeah. I mean, like we've said, it's such an isolating experience because there are a lot of romanticized notions about adoption and foster care. Well, if you just love them enough, if you're doing all these things, and it's really more than that, because you're coming, you're opening your home and maybe your biological children to a child who has had to do hard things to survive in some cases.
Yep.
And they've learned behaviors that really serve them well when they're trying to survive, but don't serve them well once they're in a safe family. And it's hard to reconcile some of that. And so you get big behaviors and things that you don't know how to deal with.
Right. So I'm assuming there's some, depending on the ages and everything, assuming there's some trauma there.
Oh, yeah.
And so dealing with the trauma and not having a support group, that's tough. That would be very, very difficult. So that's, wow.
Yeah.
How about on your end?
I mean, I was sitting here thinking, like, there's too many to count.
Right.
I have the privilege and the blessing of seeing full story, people that step into it. I've seen like the full cycle of someone that's on this, everyone can do something, steps into volunteer. They do a little bit more, they get closer to the family, then they're like toeing the line, and then they go get licensed, and then they're fostering. And then you watch God work through their family, and they've adopted these children, and they're back on the other side of it now. Like I've had the opportunity to even witness that, which to me is just, there's nothing like it. There's just nothing like seeing something so broken and so hard. It's broken and it's beautiful at the same time, be restored and redeemed. And that's not the end of their story, and it's not easy. And it doesn't mean when a gavel drops and a child's adopted, it's good.
Sure.
It's just starting.
Yeah.
But there is truly, I just can't even count. Like we just got to witness last week, a family adopted foster child. They had her in their home for over 900 days. And all of the hard things they went through when there was no end in sight, fear, how's this going to work out, all of that stuff. And we got to see it come to an end. So those are my favorite things, is getting to see the other side of like, how to happen with this. And then you see it all work out,
So, I'm thinking through like what you just described, and like, I mean, when you first, you both had stories about personal, on the adoption or fostering side. What were some of the things that you thought initially, like going back, and then what you realized what actually took place? What were some of the things that, if there's somebody listening that it's like, oh, I think it's this way, but it's not. Is there anything that sticks out?
Go ahead. Girl, go ahead.
Okay, so one thing that is foster care's goal is reunification. A lot of people think foster care is a way into adoption. Goal is reunification.
Okay.
So if you are wanting to adopt a child and that's what your heart is telling you, then go through the avenue of adoption.
Okay.
Because that foster care's goal is reunification. The other thing is, I have also seen on the beauty of the redemption of an adoption and a family coming together, and I've also seen beautiful reunifications where a birth family has worked so hard and they've gotten their child back, and that is so rewarding to be able to watch. Coming alongside families that are just, I mean, it's not scary. You know, I think there's a lot of misconceptions. It's not. It's a way to serve and love a family that needs a little support, sometimes a lot more support, but to reunify with their child.
So that's
that's the big one that stands out to me.
And that's, I mean, that one for me, you know, not being involved, that's the one. I mean, just saying that, it's like, oh wow, that's actually the opposite of what I thought. It's, you know, I would have said, okay, well, foster is to adopt, but it's actually to reunify. Yeah, it's awesome.
Like I said before, you know, just understanding that, you know, you need to do it in a community. It's really challenging to do it on your own, and it's not about how much you love the child. There's so much more that has to be taken into consideration. So just going into it with eyes open, building a team of support around you, having something like Fostering Hope, having a support group, having friends, whatever it is, who are going to walk the journey with you, so that you're not out there alone.
So for Fostering Hope, let's say that there is a family that is fostering, and they are not involved. Is that something that they can reach out to Fostering Hope, or how does that work?
Absolutely. Yeah, they can totally reach out, because everything we do, we offer to the community.
Okay.
So, you know, support group. In fact, in my support group, and I think the same as yours. It's not really our church families. It's community families.
Yep.
But Parents Night Out, conferences, all of it is open to any foster family.
Very cool. So that's something that you know, hopefully if there's someone listening that's, you know, going through struggles, anything like that, that can help for sure. I'm sure there's challenges with Fostering Hope, you know, with the organization, and I mean, is there something that stands out that's a challenge that other people can help with or get involved with?
I don't know that there's truly any challenges that come to mind. I mean, we've been able to partner, like I said, with our local child welfare agencies, other churches. There are other churches that have launched foster care and adoption ministries. We've come alongside them. There's a really great network of support for each other. So usually if there's some sort of challenge that comes up, like, we can help each other out. More often than not, it's like a family that it's hard for them to get to us.
Got it.
Right.
You know, I think that's probably a challenge. And one of the things that we've tried to do is help through there's other organizations. One's called Care Portal. Care Portal's mission, it's a national organization. It's really cool. It is a way for a child serving agency to go online to the Care Portal and put a need in for a family. Churches can subscribe to that need in the radius that they set around their church. There's truly a family in their community. They get the need and they can respond. So Care Portal churches, usually, if they've signed up for Care Portal, they have a heart for vulnerable families. They've probably got some foster adoption in them. And so we try to help find people like their community church that can help them, because
that's cool.
It's hard to be really far away. But we've got a pretty good network of churches from like Callahan. We've got one in Valdosta, several in St. Johns County, even in northern Duval County. So, you know, we try to
that's good that
get people
y'all,
where they can find support.
Yeah, and that's good that the different organizations,
Yes.
you guys are on the same team, and maybe challenges that one
the
is
challenge,
facing.
I think that's probably,
yeah.
I mean, just talking through it, probably the most, and getting people, getting families resources. But with there's a faith-based initiative that came into Florida like 2018, 2019, which allowed a lot of faith-based organizations that provide more resources for foster and adoptive families to come into the state and partner with child welfare and churches. And so we have an opportunity to just connect people. But the challenge is sometimes where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing that we've been able to do, there's a national conference called Replanted. And so we were able to bring it to Florida. So it's kind of our southeastern region. And we've tailored it to our community and our area, but we have families come from out of state.
Oh, cool.
Who are coming. We stream the keynote speakers,
Yep.
but then we have live breakouts, live worship, all the agencies, the different organizations, and the care that different people provide. They come, they're doing breakouts, they're doing like a mama den to pamper moms. We're doing something for dads this
cool.
year.
Doing something for dads.
But
The
then
dads
there-
got really jealous.
Yeah.
The mommy den was so cool. And the dads were like, what about
now there's a
us?
daddy den.
Yeah. So just being able to, because it can be hard to travel to Chicago,
Yeah.
but so bringing it into our area
Yep.
so that the travel isn't a challenge.
And that's upcoming
Yeah.
this year?
Yeah.
Awesome.
May 1st through the 3rd.
Okay.
We have an opening session on May 1st that night. So we have a great speaker coming for that to encourage families. We have a social mixer and a table hall, an exhibit hall with tabling for resources for families to find. It's for caregivers only, so it's for
Got it.
parents. And then we have general sessions, breakout sessions on Friday and Saturday. And then we also offer the restoration stations, the mama dens, and things like that, so people can just get a break and rest. We have fun surprises at the conference. They're called no-win gifts. They're little hidden gifts and things we do during the general sessions.
What a
just
positive
for,
experience.
extra love. So the purpose of Replanted is to pour into these families, to inspire them, equip them, and just encourage them to keep going. Which just matches our mission for our community.
The whole thing is so positive, so, just enlightening. Are there goals that, the organization has, like moving forward with, is it ever, something that the organization goes, we want to help more, people? Is there anything like that, or it's just kind of who comes to you and supports? Okay.
I think goal to make sure we have enough volunteers to
sustain
adequately
it.
to sustain and support the families that come.
So let's talk about that, because that was kind of the one thing I want to make sure that we get out there is that, if someone wants to be involved, how do they go about that? How do they get in touch to volunteer?
They can go to our website. Okay. Our church website is fruitcope.com/fostering hope. You can find Fostering Hope on Fruit Cope Baptist Church's website, and that will connect them with us to share about volunteer opportunities. We do a 5K every fall. Yeah. This year it's November 1st. It's called Fostering Hope 5K. It was something different before, simple Fostering Hope 5K, and that is our ministry's main fundraiser. So
got it.
Yeah, it's fun. We have a fun run for the kids and a 5K, and we have coffee trucks and just fun things.
Very
like
cool.
that.
We'll make sure that the websites and everything like that are posted, and we'll get all that out there as well. It's pretty incredible.
Well, thank you. It's like I said, it's a movement in our church, and truly, I just cannot. I can't say enough about the support the church has provided. I do. Just personally, I feel like vulnerable children are at the heart of God, and He takes care of them. And just being able to say yes and serve in these places is just nothing like it. So I can't think really of anything else.
I was gonna ask if there was a final message that you kind of wanted to, and you already said it.
Okay,
it was beautiful. So yeah, it was amazing. Well, I appreciate you guys stopping by today. You both are angels, and we definitely will get the word out, support you as much as we possibly can, and help raise awareness. But It's incredible. So thank you for telling your story in Jacksonville. What an incredible organization. So thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
us. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Hometown Jax podcast is recorded and produced by First Coast Mortgage Funding, located in the heart of Jacksonville. Do you want to be our next guest? Visit our website at hometownjaxpodcast.com. We can't wait to hear your story.